Police officers are charged with protecting the people, maintaining the law, and providing honorable and honest service to their communities. However, the repercussions can be severe and widespread when officers violate that trust and take part in corrupt practices. In this video, we'll look at several notorious instances of police misconduct and analyze how they affected society. So, let's get going. You've probably heard of police officers accepting bribes, but have you ever heard of the team's most popular officer being dishonest and carrying out his evil schemes in such a covert manner that not even his department is aware of it? So, how did he end up in custody? If you haven't heard of something similar, allow us to inform you that Sergeant Wayne Jenkins was a victim of it. A smart, crooked policeman. Sergeant Wayne Jenkins' eyes darted from screen to screen, sifting over the CCTV footage in the dimly lit city headquarters of the Baltimore Police Department. 2015's that day saw streets filled with boiling rage. On the west side of the city, police officers were being attacked with bricks. Some were hurt. Jenkins hurried after them. In the midst of shouting, sirens, and buzzing helicopters, he seized a state prison department van and helped pull injured cops inside. When it was near Druid Hill Park, he intervened in the conflict and instructed the detective to take them to the hospital. A drug-dealing bail bondsman was awoken from his slumber several hours later in a peaceful waterfront district 15 miles east of the city center. His supplier required the disposal of 2 garbage bags full of prescription medications stolen from people who had also robbed pharmacy. Fresh after his heroic deeds in West Baltimore, Jenkins showed up. He opened the trunk and carried the pills inside the garage. After the bondsman handled selling them, the police sergeant and the latter would split the proceeds. Wayne Jenkins was living 2 lives at a time. He was already well known for running aggressive street squads at the age of 34. Later, he was in charge of the prestigious Gun Trace Task Force, one of the Baltimore Police Department's most effective tools for combating violent crime. He also served as the commanding officer of a team of police officers who engaged in robberies and narcotics trafficking. Jenkins and 6 members of his gun task force were charged with federal racketeering in March 2017, which shocked Baltimore. Many robberies, extortion, and overtime fraud were all allegedly committed by a group of seasoned police officers. Following the shooting death of Freddie Gray, long-standing mistrust of the police among many Baltimore residents grew. But the breadth and depth of these accusations were astounding. The Gun Trace Task Force was well known within the police force for its accomplishments in seizing alleged drug dealers, their caches, and their illicit weaponry. Jenkins was developing a reputation as a policeman in the division whose aggressive approach got results. His reputation as a cowboy who broke big cases through a frenetic pace of citizen stops and occasionally supplied evidence pointing up a chain of drug dealers was generally positive among current and former police officers. Jenkins, who had been praised as a rising talent by department leadership and rank-and-file officers early in his career, was a leader with a remarkable flair for delivering the goods. For his assistance in the 2009 recovery of 41 kilograms of cocaine worth $1 million hidden in a man's truck at the time, it was touted as the largest cocaine seizure in the division's record. This was only one of Jenkins' numerous huge seizures. Did you know that Jenkins was awarded a Bronze Star for this huge achievement? Although it may seem strange, the Baltimore Police Department did not experience any instances of a police officer receiving both praise and criticism. In the world, Wayne Jenkins and his colleagues in plainclothes lived in success and wrongdoing were not mutually exclusive. In fact, they occasionally seemed to go hand in hand. A year-long investigation by the Baltimore Sun turned up warning signs that Wayne Jenkins wasn't a reliable policeman. His supervisors and others either failed to see the warning indications or choose to ignore them. Between 2006 and 2009, Jenkins was the subject of at least 4 lawsuits that claimed misconduct. 3 of them resulted in the plaintiff's victories, either as a result of jury verdicts or the city's decision to settle the case. The suits, however, had no internal repercussions for the police agency. Despite the lawsuits and subsequent video evidence from the squad's body cameras, Jenkins' supervisors did not review the arrests he was making. His legal defenses regularly failed in court, despite the fact that he was removing criminal suspects off the streets. 2014 saw the delivery of a surveillance video to the state's attorney's office in Baltimore's Police Integrity Division that seemed to show Jenkins perhaps putting drugs in a suspect's car. Authorities investigated the matter and even presented evidence to a grand jury, but finally determined that there wasn't enough proof to warrant an indictment. The same video reportedly led to a rare police department disciplinary probe against Jenkins, who was accused of misbehavior internally in 2015. This information comes from a copy of the case file that the Sun reviewed. The investigators proposed Jenkins be demoted and placed on paid leave, according to the department's then Internal Affairs Chief, Daryl DeSalsa, who was the deputy commissioner at the time, allegedly intervened to halt the penalty. DeSalsa denies remembering the encounter, despite having later served as a commissioner and currently being in jail on federal tax charges, before being named in 2016 to lead the Gun Trace Task Force, one of the most recognized plainclothes teams in the police. These allegations of misconduct were made while Jenkins was serving in a number of plainclothes units, a long time before he was appointed. It is hardly surprising that Jenkins' greatest crimes, drug trafficking and robberies, were able to flourish in Baltimore's tolerant plainclothes culture, even if they seem to have been kept secret. These devices regularly operated unattended. They were free to hold and release suspects, as well as develop informants. They sometimes discreetly stepped over the line from aggressive policing to violating civil rights. When Jenkins first started stealing is unknown. In 2011, his first theft was reported. By the time his criminal career had completely taken off, it had already involved high-profile robberies and break-ins, and he was making over $170,000 per year, in part due to overtime fraud. To learn more about their activities, the Sun obtained thousands of pages of court records, dozens of body camera recordings, hundreds of emails from the police department, and a small number of internal files. A reporter also viewed court case recordings pertaining to the arrests of the cops. Over 50 people were questioned, including victims, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and current and former police officers. Jenkins allegedly robbed some of the defense attorney's clients. According to some of the attorneys, the bulk of his co-workers, including the police and prosecutors, told the Sun they were not aware that he and his policemen were involved in any illicit behavior. A drug associate alleged that Jenkins had been gathering narcotics off the street and profiting from their illicit sale for years before he was finally found guilty following an FBI investigation. Prior to joining the Gun Trace Task Force in 2016, some of his colleagues have also acknowledged stealing after an FBI investigation into the unit revealed the crimes committed by the GATF, Jenkins, and a number of other team members were taken into custody by federal agents. In June 2018, Jenkins was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison after entering a guilty plea to charges of racketeering, robbery, and record-keeping fraud. Corrupt police officers damage the reputation of their fellow officers who obey the law and honorably and devotedly serve their communities. They damage the reputation of the entire police force and make it harder for honorable officers to carry out their duties efficiently. The integrity of the judiciary and law enforcement is threatened by corruption, an immoral and unlawful practice. In addition to breaking the law, corrupt police officers damage the public's faith by taking bribes, covering up crimes, or employing excessive force. Furthermore, dishonest police officers can cause harm to innocent people by infringing on their civil rights, making false arrests, and acting abusively. This can result in erroneous convictions, the demise of the rule of law, and a loss of confidence on the part of the general people in the competence of the legal system to uphold their rights and interests. Public safety is compromised, and the rule of law is weakened by corrupt police officers. They undermine public trust in the police and foster an atmosphere of impunity where criminals feel free to act without consequence because they know that some police officers can be purchased or intimidated. What conclusions have you drawn from Jenkins' tale? Do you have any additional examples of dishonest police officers who were punished? If so, please tell us in the comments section.
Good morning, I'm also Park with the Guyton Police Department. Any reason you ran that stop sign right there?
What stop sign?
The one right there at Parker's.
One that sat there for like 5 minutes waiting for traffic after it?
Your driver's license.
I do.
Alright, mind getting it?
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, shoot. I need a debit card, huh?
I don't want that. Just give me a second, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, here you go, Mr. Harville. Please be more careful at the stop signs, okay?
I got you. Hey, man. You know I got a dash cam, right?
That's fine.
Okay.
It's a stop sign right there, and if you have a dash cam, I'm going to show you running the stop sign. So.
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.
In this incident, a driver named Andy Harville is pulled over by a police officer named Marcus Parker. The officer falsely accuses Harville of not fully stopping at a stop sign. Harville informs the officer that the entire incident is being recorded on his dash cam. Despite being informed about the recording, the officer continues to make false accusations and insists that Harville did not come to a complete stop. However, the dash cam footage later proves the officer wrong. It clearly shows that Harville did stop for about a minute at the stop sign and was driving safely. It is revealed that Officer Marcus Parker has a history of misconduct. He had previously been put on administrative leave from a different police department for driving under the influence. He had driven home in his patrol car after consuming multiple drinks at a local restaurant while off duty. Parker had been dishonest with his supervisors about the incident before eventually resigning and joining the Guyton Police Department. The Guyton Police Department itself has concerning issues. They lack important policies regarding the use of body and dash cams, as well as protocols for the use of force, excessive force, arrests, and interactions with the public. The absence of these policies undermines citizen protection and fails to provide clear guidelines for police officers. Given these circumstances, there is a call for accountability and reform within the Guyton Police Department. The officer involved, Marcus Parker, should face consequences for his misconduct. Additionally, the department needs to implement necessary reforms for better serving and protecting the citizens under their jurisdiction. Now let's move to another video.
He's being detained right now for QX. No, I'm talking to Hernandez. I know. I know.
Checking for an aggressive white female, unknown weapons, wearing a white shirt, blue jeans, making threats to harm himself.
Samuel Scott Jr.'s incident began when his car, a 2006 black Jeep Compass, was stolen from outside his aunt's house in Buena Vista in Miami.
¿Pero qué? ¿Qué estás esperando? ¿Tú eres un sargento? Ok, yo tengo a mi sargento. All right? Okay?
After the theft, Scott immediately called the Miami Police Department to report the incident and seek assistance in recovering a stolen vehicle. However, instead of receiving help, Scott found himself wrongfully detained and arrested by the same officers he had called. Despite being a victim of a crime, the police officers believe Scott was the perpetrator based on a description that matched his appearance. Scott, who is a black man, was wearing a dark-colored shirt over a white undershirt at the time. In a body camera footage obtained by the media, Scott can be seen telling the officers that the description of the person who took off in his car was similar to his own, but he insisted that they had the wrong person.
I went over there to see the kids and everything. My kids are...
Where are your kids?
I was with them.
Where are
They were over there, what's the name? They were over at my cousin's house. So,
When?
huh?
When?
What? I've been over there since,
11 to
what? I want to say it's
11 to
5:30, 6 o'clock. I actually walked back over here.
You have two IDs?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, one is an ID and one is a driver's license.
Okay.
Right.
Scott questioned why he would call the police if he had stolen his own car, and expressed his concern for his children who were left unattended while he's being questioned.
You know what's up, okay?
All right, but... Oh, yeah, still not, okay.
You mind if I sit in your cars?
I really don't know
It's a bigger space.
what I did.
I really don't care, but...
Alright, okay.
Alright, listen. I'm gonna read you your rights real quick. Alright?
I'm telling you guys got the wrong guy. I can confirm where I was, and I can even confirm my activities. I recently logged off of the VPN at my job.
Okay. At what time?
Roughly before I came over here, before I called you guys.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, you guys got the wrong guy.
Okay. The description of the guy that took off from your car is just like yours.
The officers proceeded to charge Scott with several offenses, including leaving the scene of an accident, false reporting of a crime, failure to carry a concealed weapon license, and possession of marijuana. However, these charges were later dropped by the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office in November 2021, indicating that there was insufficient evidence to pursue the case against Scott.
To the time, I really just jumped out of the car to go see. That's it. If you want, like I said, we can go. Like, I had my kids and stuff like that, dropped them off, came over to say hi. And I went, I don't know what happened. I don't. Like I said, I know the people that stay across there, over here, all over the place. I don't know what happened. My car just, somebody jumped in, drove off. And I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, I didn't do it. Literally, why would I call the police? I called because my car is stolen. How me and my kids are going to get home? My pillow, my work ID, my work stuff, all of that stuff is in there. Why would I? That's why I'm like, why am I in handcuffs? If I'm calling them and I'm...
Just give me a second. You never been arrested before?
No.
Sure about that?
Yeah. Never been arrested. Ex-military.
As a result of this wrongful arrest and detention, Samuel Scott Jr. is now suing the Miami PD and 5 specific officers involved in the incident. His lawsuit alleges unlawful search, false imprisonment, and unwarranted prosecution. Scott's attorney is seeking $500,000 in damages for the physical, emotional, and reputational harm caused by the incident. Let's now move to another video.
You're right. For what?
Wait, he didn't do anything! That's why you touched me, my son! He didn't! We're gonna look after your son! I don't want you to look after him! My son is in the car! No! No one's gonna be hurt, just get out the car!
In this incident, the London Metropolitan Police pulled over 2 world-class athletes, and they have been accused of racial profiling. One of the athletes is Bianca Williams, a member of Great Britain's sprint team. According to Williams, the police officers approached their car aggressively and seemed ready to break the car window within seconds of their encounter. Ricardo dos Santos, who is Williams' partner and a record holder in the 400-meter event, denies the allegations of cannabis possession made by the police. He expresses feeling hurt and fearful as a result of the incident.
Sì, basta che non applicati qua, non ci voglio ma sto puttana, lo so che sei, che sei. Fatti papà. No, basta che non sparano. È una macchina nuova quella, che sei, che c'è.
One other video surfaced showing AC Milan's Tom Way Bakayoko being detained and searched by police officers who had firearms drawn.
Metti piano.
No, le vedo.
Le punta, oh.
Le vedo. C'è una visuale precisa proprio.
However, Bakayoko was released after the officers recognized him as a famous footballer. The Milan police initially claimed that the check on Bakayoko was conducted with high security measures and justified by the context of the operation. However, they later apologized and released Bakayoko after realizing his identity. The police statement mentioned that the check was carried out in a manner consistent with the perceived danger, but the officer's shock upon recognizing Bakayoko suggests a potential misunderstanding or error in judgment.